This is the RACER H2O podcast.
It's time to drop that flag!
Go! Come on. Right there, go get him! Cut it tight. Stay on the tractor, baby! Bring it home!
And now here's your host.
Three-wide battle for the lead, shoulder to shoulder, going into turn one. Rinse that boot around!
Jared Rosberg.
Yeah, what's up, troops? It's your old pal Jared. Welcome, friends and neighbors, to another RACER H2O podcast. Man, I got to tell you, I feel a little bit like old Pete Mitchell, Maverick. If you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, go see it. It's a good time. We're doing a touch and go this week, fans, coming back to Pittsburgh at the HQ. Leaving in a day and a half. We're heading back out. We just got back from Branson, Missouri, and man, let me tell you, what a great time we had in Branson. Fans, if you don't have a good time when you're in Branson, it's your fault. There is so much going on there. We had a great time out in town, but more importantly, had a great time on Lake Taneycomo with Powerboat Nationals, the Pro Tunnel boats, the Formula Light boats. Put on a great show at round number 2 of the 2022 Branson Grand Prix Series. Congratulations to our winners. Not going to spoil the surprise. That's going to be on our national TV coverage coming up here in a couple weeks. We're getting ready to edit that, get that all cut up for you. It'll be on 300 million households on 11 different cable networks. Go to racerh2o.com and check it out. You can see where you can see it. Hey, while you're there, fans, go on over to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. Got to get those numbers up. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And, of course, while you're at racerh2o.com, click on that merch button. Get yourself a nice hat, t-shirt, beer mug. We got all kinds of stuff on there. It's crazy. racerh2o.com. This week, fans, we just got done in Branson. Like I said, day and a half break. Back on the road, back on a plane to Guntersville, Alabama. 2022 Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest. We'll be there with the national TV crew covering the three classes of hydroplanes racing at this event. Pro Light hydroplanes, the 5 liters will be there. Of course, H1 Unlimited will be there. But the ones we're focusing on in this show this week, Grand Prix America hydroplanes. We've got the man with the plan, Dean Rojas from Grand Prix America hydroplanes. He is, there it is, red light's blinking. He's standing by on the line. We'll catch up with him and talk about the Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest and Grand Prix America hydroplanes on the RACER H2O podcast, fans. That's coming right up. Don't move. 15 seconds. We'll be right back.
Get up-to-the-minute watercraft racing news and fantastic bonus content by joining RACER H2O on social media.
Links to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube pages are easy to find at racerh2o.com.
This is the race.
No, this.
Okay.
Pause.
Okay. This is the RACER H2O podcast.
All right, troops, welcome back to the podcast. As we said earlier, heading off to Guntersville, Alabama. Once again, one of my favorite places to go. Great food, great times, great racing. Racing's getting even better this year. 3 classes of hydroplanes racing on Lake Guntersville at Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest. And we've got the man with the plan for the Grand Prix America hydroplanes. Mr. Dean Rojas is on the line. Dean, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jared. It's a pleasure being here today.
We were talking just a couple minutes ago about, just giving you a heads up about what we're going to talk about here. And I was intrigued with the story about how you got into racing, because you started out as a fan and it was all because you went to a race. And just tell us about this story, because it mirrors so many stories and so many, drivers getting into racing, why they got into it. They got into it because of what they experienced as a kid. Tell us that story about you in San Diego.
Well, I was introduced to boat racing very early on. I guess as far as I can remember, probably 7, 8 years old. At that time, my dad would take us down to Mission Bay and we'd watch the Thunderboats race there on Mission Bay. My brother, my whole family would go, and it became an annual event. We used to go down there. My brother and I used to go down there and collect cans and walk the beaches back then to save money so we could buy stuff, but it was something that we went to every year. And my love of boat racing and the noise, the power, the spectacle that it was, and it still is today. And just that love has always been there. Life gets in the way. You start following your career, and things start evolving. And then coming back into it, I've always wanted to maybe own a boat, and that all came about in 2009 when I made the jump into the Grand Prix class. And the Grand Prix class is one class below the unlimited hydroplanes, the H1, and they're the largest automotive powered boat in APBA. So we're just one step below the unlimiteds, but we run a 468 Chevy big block, supercharged. We run on alcohol, and the engines put out anywhere from 13 to 1450 on the horsepower range. Our speeds in the straightaway reach about 145 to 160 in that range, depending on the course and the setup on that. So a lot of noise, GPs, that we a lot of thunder, a lot of heart pounding noise. And when you get 5 or 6 out of them, it brings me back to the days of watching the old Thunderboats on Mission Bay.
Well, and I love the fact you guys are running Detroit iron, the old Chevy engines, and that's just fantastic. Made in America, baby.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the first time we've seen you race in Guntersville. But tell us about the history of the Grand Prix class on Lake Guntersville. You guys have been there before, but not as big as what you got going on in 2022.
Yeah, this is going to be our third time back to Guntersville. We were there the inaugural year, and then the second year after that in a smaller capacity. I think we only had 5 boats, maybe 6 at that time. And so the class was kind of trudging along, I will say, at that time. And then we didn't go there in 19, and then obviously COVID hit in 20 and 21 and canceled the events. So for us, we're back. It took a while. It took about a year to put the contract together. And it's a package deal. We have, like you mentioned, the third class, which is the Pro Lights, which is a very popular class as well. They run a 5-liter engine, a V8. It's a naturally aspirated. It's not supercharged. And so they put on a great show. Those guys, there'll be 12 of those that are going to be at Guntersville this weekend. And with the Grand Prix boats, we'll have 11 GPs there. So it's the largest field that we've had at Guntersville so far.
And a really neat thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have 11 boats showing up, but there's only 6 slots in the feature race. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, that is correct, Jared. The Grand Prix class is very competitive, as is the Pro Lights, and they're all vying for the final heat, which is a 6-boat final heat. There will be no trailers, and that's why the qualification rounds that you'll see throughout the weekend are going to be very important for those guys to accumulate the points that they need to get into that final on Sunday afternoon.
I hate to see people go home, but I love the competitive nature of it. And I love the fact that somebody's going to go home. I mean, you've got to work, you've got to get your way into it. You're not going to be able to back into this race. There's only 6 slots, 11 drivers, and that's fantastic. So big fleet of boats coming for not just the Grand Prix America Hydroplanes fans, but also the Pro Lights. And again, I'm speaking with Dean Rojas of the Grand Prix America Hydroplane Series. And you guys are a series. I mean, this isn't a one-off event for you guys, Dean. And in 2022, the majority of your schedule is you're riding alongside of H1, and big crowds there, big events there, but you also have a standalone event in Kentucky. Tell us a little bit about the Owensboro event.
Yeah, the Grand Prix America Tour is what we would like to, parlay to everyone. It's more of a tour than it is a series, just because we go to different places, different areas of the country, and we're international as well. So it's more of a tour type of thing. But yes, we're excited to be partnering up with H1 this year. They're going to be handling all of our live streaming, and we'll be working along with them in a bigger capacity, to working together. Obviously H1 is those boats are phenomenal. They're fast. They're beautiful. They're a spectacle on the water, and so to partner with them is very good for the 4 events that we're going to be going to. And it'll be Lake Guntersville this weekend. The following weekend will be Madison, Indiana, and then we turn around and go back to Tri-Cities, Washington, and then we go back to Owensboro, Kentucky. and then we finish up on in San Diego, California. So that'll be our tour. Our Owensboro event is a standalone Grand Prix America Tour event. We are partnering with HRL, which is the Hydroplane Racing League up in Canada. They also run the Grand Prix class up there as well, and they will be working in conjunction on that event. They're going to bring 3 or 4 of their HRL boats to Owensboro. So we're going to have a really big fleet of boats in Owensboro in August. We're looking forward to that one as well as our standalone event.
And fans, don't forget that we will be covering the HRL live from North Tonawanda, New York on August 7th. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll have the live stream of the HRL race there. And I'm sure we'll see some overlap there, some guys from both the HRL and Grand Prix America hydroplanes. So this is a tour for you guys, and you guys are piggybacking with H1 in 2022. Let's talk about 2023. What kind of big plans do you guys have for next year? I mean, it's never too early to talk about next year. A lot of people think you got to wait till the end of this year for next year. Man, you're way too late by that point. What do you guys have cooking for next year?
Well, as part of my other career, I'm always looking forward down the line because that's what's coming. So in 2023, we're looking at possibly a TV contract to carry the Grand Prix America Tour. We believe we're going to have another 2 more races, possibly even 3, going into 2023. So we'll have anywhere from 6 to 7 races. And we're excited about that, and it's a big challenge to do all that. We're building a webpage right now, so you can go online and watch the video. You can watch, get a bio of the drivers, the boats, the teams, and video, all that content that you would expect from a national touring, organization. So that's kind of the direction we're headed in that range. And we've got a lot of interest in the Grand Prix class because there's stability there now. And there's a lot of people that were on the fence that now are really looking hard at buying a boat and wanting to come race with us. And three boats got bought up this year, and you'll eventually see them this year on the water at some point at one of the races, which is good because they'll get their feet wet. And then 23 we'll have a big fleet of GPs ready to tour the United States.
Well, you mentioned stability, and stability is key, Dean, whenever we're talking about touring and all of that. We've seen it with the Southern Drag Boat Association. David Carroll's rebuilding everything there. And, just in year 2 of us working with them, we've extended out to live streaming all of their events. And I believe we have 8 on the calendar for this year, all the way from Eastern Texas to Chandler, Arizona, outside of Phoenix at Firebird Lake. So, you bring that stability in, you see the boat count start to boost up, because that's what drivers and teams are looking for. And everybody's always looking to race, but you want to race for an organization that is truly that, an organization. And you guys really seem to have it together this year, and we can't wait to see you. Can't wait to meet you face to face. We've done a lot of talking about TV, and it's great to have you on the podcast, but it'll be great to finally meet you face to face, you and many of the other drivers or the other teams in Guntersville Lake, Alabama. The Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest is this weekend, fans, June 25th and 26th. Get your tickets now. Go to explorelakeguntersville.com and guntersvillelakehydrofest.com to get those tickets. Reserve your space now. Trust me, fans, if you haven't been to this event, it is packed. You want to get reserved seating for this. You want to get your tickets now. So make sure you do that. Be able to see H1 Unlimited hydroplanes, Pro Light, the 5-liter engines roaring of the Pro Light hydroplanes, and of course, our friends with the Grand Prix America hydroplanes. Dean Rojas has been our guest. Dean, thank you so much for your time. Can't wait to see you in Guntersville, and safe travels, my friend.
Thank you, Jared. I appreciate that. And I just want to let everybody know that we'll be testing Friday afternoon, and that is free. So come on down and check out the testing from 2 to 5 on this Friday afternoon. And we'll see some great boats out on the water testing.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned that in our last podcast last week with Katie Norton. She brought it up. It's a free event. That one's free, fans. Everything else you got to pay for, but Friday afternoon, tell the boss you're taking off, whether he wants you to or not. Head on out to Guntersville Lake and watch everybody out on the water. Again, Dean, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you in Guntersville.
Thank you, Jared.
Man, I just cannot wait to get back to Guntersville Lake, Alabama. Craw Mamas is calling me. Charlotte's going to have some good food waiting for us. Just can't wait. Again, we thank Dean Rojas from Grand Prix America Hydroplanes for being our guest, bringing us up to speed on what that tour is doing in 2022 at Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest and beyond. All the places they'll be, all the racing they'll have, and all the fans they're certain to make smiles appear on their faces. Again, fans, don't forget, subscribe. Tell your friends, tell people you know, tell people you don't know. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search Racer H2O and visit racerh2o.com. We've got links there for everything, including our merchandise. Make sure you get yourself a new hat, t-shirt. Look great while you're at the race. I've got to get out of here. Got to go get on a plane. Guntersville Lake, Alabama. That's our next stop. Hey, and also, fans, don't forget, our live stream crew this weekend, we're doing double duty. Our live stream crew will be in San Angelo, Texas for the Southern Drag Boat Association's racing of the Showdown in San Angelo. Huge drag boat race. They're going to have, I'm hearing, 3 top fuel hydros on the course for that. Man, I wish I could clone myself and be in 2 places at once, but we'll be checking out the live stream coverage of that this weekend, and then our national TV coverage coming up in a couple weeks of the 2022 Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest. So once again, fans, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks to Dean Rojas for being our guest. We'll see you in Guntersville this weekend, fans. Until next time, I'm your old pal Jared, and this has been the Racer H2O Podcast.